Hi y'all, I want to talk about the INTJ INFJ loop. Okay, when I say loop, it's like we have our normal function stack. This is our normal function stack. And then the INFJ is the NIFE-TISE. So, okay, despite how much we can love each other, we can also be like total contradictive. This is what happens when the first and the third function is having this like unbreakable loop. It's like it's feeding off each other non-stop, and it's the same thing here, like the NITI loop and then the NIFI loop. At least this is like based on my experience. What usually happens is that okay, let me just quickly explain how I view this function stack. The first function stack is like our drive. It's unconscious. It just like happens naturally for us. And then our second function is like our, what we like or what we prefer. It's for me, it's like a preference of what we, how we want to do things. So it's usually on our best days, this is what we use the most. And then there's the third function, which, from my point of view, it's often activated as a defense mechanism. And then there's like the last function, or, in personality hacker, they say like, okay, this is the first is the driver, this is like the co-pilot, the 10-year-old, and this is like the toddler or the 3-year-old. So this one is sort of just like the escape route. I'm just gonna write that. Okay, so we have the same first function, which is NI, and NI can be like really stubborn because this is like a driver, and they use perspective and all that. While the second function for the INTJ is TE, for the INFJ is FE. This is like, what's funny is that usually, from my observation at least, the NI-FI loop for the INTJ or the NI-TI loop for the INFJ is often activated when the second function is not met in a way. So this is like there's something that blocks their second function, which causes this first and third function loop, and it's activated because of this was not met. But then once this is activated, it's like blocks the second function completely. So I'm gonna try to give examples of how this might have happened. Okay, so this is like a wedding party. These are like the people or the creepy creatures on the background. And then this is the INTJ, like with his face already not in the mood. Oh. And this is the INFJ. They come both with different like motivation and desire. Like the INTJ would already hate crowd so much. The INFJ may just come to make sure that their relationship is on good terms, or maybe it's their close friends that's getting married and they just need to come. Okay, so this is like the battery power. The battery power is just like only for 2 hours. The clock is ticking for both of them, and they are naturally like not in their best state. So for the INTJ, and the INFJ, whoopsie, TI, yeah, because they're already like sort of uncomfortable inside, they just like, not really into the situation. But I mean, the INFJ may, may like try to rely on her FE more. and he's already just like, okay, let's get this done, let's get this over with or something. But like I said, their second function is sort of already like in a vulnerable situation. Okay, and then in comes this creature, Pac-Man-like creature, who happens to be the ex of INTJ. Okay, take note that, okay, this is the INTJ. Like their relationship ended not long ago, and this new relationship is also quite new with the INFJ. And okay, like I just said, they're both like in their less comfortable or not their best selves. Okay, so the INTJ is probably feeling uncomfortable already, and yeah, they just have to have this awkward conversations. There's other people as well, just like watching. And okay, the INFJ may feel that FE is being neglected or something because of she starts to use her TI more as her defense mechanism, and she sees all the cues or the clues. Why is his facial expression like this, and then why is his hands crossed, and then why is he like being so distant and away from me, and this already like causing, she's already feeling like her FE is disrupted, like he's not trying to make me feel happy, and he's not thinking about me, or like not thinking about harmony in general and all that. So that activates this loop already, but she may stay silent though, although like her TI is already feeding her NI, and she's already like making conclusions that's sometimes a bit too far off. So after that, they would like, here they are in the car. This is the car. Okay, this is the INTJ and his face, and INFJ with like her broken heart or feelings or whatever. And because she's like cannot hold it in, she starts questioning, and then she would be like, hey, why did you ignore me? Why did you like stay away from me? Or why did you stand so far away? Why didn't you like touch me at all during meeting your ex or something? And then that would feel like, to him, it would feel like an attack. So this is like the rage, or she starts to be pissed off and all that. And for him, he's gonna feel like he's being attacked. And this is where things can go really, ugly. It's because he will build an ice wall. He will just totally block all of this rage, because to him, it's really not efficient, and maybe he thinks that it's a waste of time to think of all that, while for her, she's already like upset, feeling that harmony is disrupted, and she wants to activate like her first and third function is already feeding each other off. And what's interesting is that the second function is getting more and more blocked. So it's like the second function is what triggers this situation in the first place. But once it's triggered, it just causes the second function to, sort of just dies down completely, So they just don't really care about their the function they like the most. They're neglecting it, and then they're just like focused on the shitty loop, this shitty loop. Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna use it like this. Once the INTJ feels like he's being attacked, he would like also be confused and start questioning what's going on. I don't understand. Why is she accusing me? Like, you don't love me. You don't love me. Oh my God. Or like maybe you still want her. You still want her, or whatever. There's so many like accusations going on because of this NITI loop, and then she feels like she have facts to back her up, but they may not always be correct. You know, they may not always be correct conclusions. And for him, because he's already like feeling attacked, and that, you know, there's like no point in this situation and whatever, he may go into this NIFI loop, which causes him to sort of like block himself and make like a sort of ice wall, because yeah, he would think that he's the right one and the other person is just being irrational. So yeah, he hates irrationality, but she also hates like feeling neglected or whatever. So he may like refer to like his own like values or feelings to guard him, and it's feeding the NI, which can be super stubborn. Okay, this is like one of the worst situations that can happen. So I just want to highlight like some tips from me, is that for the INTJ, you know, you just need to cool off. Oops, no, wait. He should, yeah, I mean, he should try to listen. But the INFJ also, she needs to be more calm and just, you know, really not just blurt out things. Just think it through, you know, is it really making any sense? Or, you know, it's best that she hold her thought. This, I find that it's not easy, but it's doable. So when you want to have like a rational conversation with an INTJ, you just really need to hold your thought and, you know what, focus on your FE. This is like your reliable companion, or like it's the function that you are really great with. But, you know, at the same time, it can be you can be tempted to ignore it and just like jump to your third function and, you know, and go to defense mode. But if you focus on your second, then it would be it would show in a much friendlier way. Even if you have questions, it's fine. If you want to ask things, then you can do that. But I mean, don't do it like from a place that's like a blind point of view or something. And okay, for the INTJ, you really need to listen and, you know, just sort of like understand the other person, or understand at least what his action has caused. Because this, I feel like this can be a bit hard for the INTJ, especially when he's already in his NIFI mode. He's like thinking he's always right or something like that, without really considering if there's something that happened there that may not have happened if he, you know, just like try to consider the needs of others, like yeah, something like that. But again, he also needs to focus on his TE, because TE will guide him into being more efficient, and even may, you know, bring him into you know, someone who can, you know, say sorry if okay, sorry for making you feel neglected or something. It's like the example. So yeah, then if, you know, this is really hard, you know, for an INTJ to do, but if you really listen to your TE, then that's actually the most efficient thing that you can do right now, while you're both like in your own rage. But just by acknowledging or understanding or acknowledging the other person's situation or feelings or what have happened, even if he didn't like do it purposely, then this simple tip can really really like make the situation get better faster. And this first point right here, you can see, while the other needs to listen and the other one needs to be more calm, is actually just one way to postpone the fight or like the conflict. Because I don't think that especially the INFJ will really hate conflicts, but it's like once her FE is blinded and then her TI is taking control, then that's when hell breaks loose. And then same thing for the INTJ. So sometimes they really need to like just take some time away from each other, I think. And that is like closely related to this point right here, that when she can hold her thought and try to rationalize it better, then he may listen better and also allows him to understand and acknowledge the situation. And once they start to focus on their best function or their most reliable function, I feel like that's when usually they start to make up again. So that's my take on the NITI loop versus NIFI loop on INTJ and INFJ.